In the wake of the passing of Obamacare and the failure to get rid of Obamacare, the fast food industry seemingly seems intent on cutting the hours of everyone in order to make sure that they don't have to actually pay for health insurance for human life. A Taco Bell in Guthrie, Oklahoma is cutting all hours to part-time in order to avoid paying for health insurance. Nearly 20 employees work for this particular Taco Bell franchise, and they were informed just before Christmas, of course, right before Christmas, that everybody would be cut to 28 hours or less.
There's all these things that in life you have to pay, and with 28 hours a week, it's just not possible.
Since September, Jonna Davis has worked at the Taco Bell in Guthrie. She's seen a $200 cut in her paycheck since a new store policy went into effect.
What we were being told was one thing, and that was, we're going to offer benefits. We'll just keep all of our full-time employees. And then it was like, come December, their whole story changed.
She says her manager held a meeting before Christmas saying employees' hours would be cut in the new year.
They informed everybody that nobody was considered full-time any longer, that everybody was now considered part-time. We would be cutting everybody's hours back to 28 hours or less due to Obamacare.
That's pretty sad, and that's pretty damn cold. The Guthrie restaurant is owned by a Missouri-based company named Treadwell Enterprises that would allow, they will allow supervisors and managers to remain at full time. Now, it's strange because they say they can't afford it. Yet in 2012, they saw the parent company Taco Bell saw a 73% increase in its revenue. That's right, a 73% increase in profit. But, of course, they say that they can't afford health insurance. I mean, it's not like it's a struggling mom-and-pop operation. This is a huge, huge national corporation. Now, there's a Wendy's franchise in Omaha, Nebraska, that plans to cut 300 employees. The company has announced that all non-management positions will have their hours reduced to 28 a week. Gary Burdett, Vice President of Operations for the local franchise, says the cuts are coming because the new Affordable Health Care Act requires employers to offer health insurance to employees working 32 to 38 hours a week. Under the current law, they are not considered full-time, and that as small as a business owner, he cannot afford to stay in operation and pay for everyone's health insurance. I mean, this is just completely untrue. They actually really can afford it. This is just some kind of... It's just a lie. They're just using like anecdotal evidence to try to show how they can't afford people's health insurance, but this is completely untrue. There's been a number of studies that show that it would not put them out of business at all. In fact, some of them, it would show that it would actually help because employees would be less sick, which means you'd have employees calling in sick less often. Here is one such study. For small businesses with fewer than 50 workers which are exempt from penalties and may be eligible for premium tax credits, along with other employers with 100 or fewer workers, the law reduces the cost of coverage in aggregate. Our analysis shows that on average these employers, if they should choose to offer coverage, would find average cost per pension insured reduced 7.3% and spending for the group as a whole reduced by 1.4%. The reduction reflects efficiencies in the insurance market and tax credits to offset premium costs for the smallest employers with low-wage workers. Now, these two restaurants aren't just the only ones doing this. Denny's is doing it, the Olive Garden is doing it, and even Red Lobster is doing it. Now, it's just completely untrue that this health insurance will bankrupt American companies. It's not true. I mean, what they're doing is they're cutting it so they won't have to pay it, and then turning around saying, oh, look, we can't afford it, we had to cut. Which is not true. This correlation is not causation. They're actually doing this to avoid paying it. It's just absolutely ridiculous. And might I say that, here in Canada and many other countries, we have all these same franchises, yet we have a universal healthcare system, yet all these franchises remain in business. So by that logic, if you're actually paying just a slight, tiny little thing for health insurance for your employees, then theoretically you should go completely bankrupt because of a universal healthcare system. I mean, it just makes absolutely no sense. I mean, they're doing this on purpose, just so they won't have to pay that little, tiny thing that's important for human life. I mean, it's so telling to see this. The regular employees don't get it, but the managers and supervisors get the same hours. I mean, you can see that huge, clear class divide. A lot of people, of all those people who are saying that there's no such thing as class and that everybody's suffering in this recession. Well, no, clearly not here. The people who are important to the capitalists, the supervisors, the managers, the people that keep workers under control, there's a clear class divide between them and the regular people working. Well, you can tell. It's actually, you make it really obvious when one has their hours cut to avoid healthcare and the other doesn't. I mean, this could not be any more boldly, blandly, obviously put in your face for this to be seen. But I mean, this speaks about how much your employer does not care about you. Literally, this slight, tiny sliver of an increase is more important than you having health insurance. For you to just have, frankly, not enough health insurance. I mean, this is essentially just insurance. It's not even a universal healthcare system, which a lot of right-wingers seem to be completely turned around about and seem to think that that's what this is. No, it's not. It's a slight increase in coverage for regular people. This is nowhere near universal healthcare. This is nowhere near enough coverage that people actually need. But this tiny little sliver of a bonus for you is too much. For all those people who go out there and they glorify the self-interest of people who go in to do business and that it'll do the best for everyone, and they defend these people. The person defending them is like a minimum wage nobody who does a minimum wage nothing job like I do. Going out and glorifying these people, say that they're so great and everything. They don't care about you. You glorifying them, they don't care about you. Your life is meaningless to them. You're a cheap, expendable nothing to these people. And you need to get over that. You're not great. You're not tremendously virtuous, and neither is your boss. You don't matter. They're literally telling you that with this. That they would rather you suffer more by cutting your hours so that you couldn't even reduce your ability to pay for private insurance than have that tiny little sliver that would cause you to have just a slightly better living standard. That slight little bit of money is more important than your health. Well, what kind of other mentality should we expect out of capitalism? This is a system that says this slight piece of profit is worth more to them than your health. There's a link in the description to the study which would give you a lot more information.